Tuesday, Super Scholars, and welcome to another awesome time to practice our flashcards. Let's remind ourselves of all the awesome clues we have learned. I want to hear you say them in a nice, loud voice. Here we go. Vowel consonant E, O, Ch, E, U, or oo, O, sh, U. Two sounds. One more time. A, I, E, Ch, A, Woo. Remember, it's continuous. Woo. One more time. Woo. O, E, A. Awesome. The end. Let's go get our Tuesday started. Hello, Super Scholars, and welcome to our Tuesday lessons. We are starting off with grammar. Do we remember what grammar is? We were introduced to this yesterday. What do you remember about grammar? What's grammar? Has to do with rules. Grammar are the rules that we have to follow when we speak or write the English language. There are certain ways that we write words in a sentence, and we are learning about those this week. So we are focusing on grammar, the rules of our English language. But before we head into grammar, we always have to be practicing those decoding detective skills. So if you have your magnifying glass out, it can help you to be a decoding detective. But let's look at some words that we can practice. So first up, what do you see? This TH is going to say the hard sound. Remember? So this is them. Like a group of people, you could say them. Good job. What about this word? What do you see? What do you see here? You've got a digraph. Cash. Cash. Like the dollars that you give to buy something, that's physical cash. And what about this word? What do you see here? We see TCH. And what sound does TCH make? Ch. It's the sneezing sound. So can you decode this word? Switch. Switch. Like something like a light switch, it turns on and off. Switch. What is this word? Can you decode it? You have our sh sound. Finish. If you are done with something, you are finished. Good job warming up those reading brains and practicing. practicing our decoding skills, let's look at our grammar learning target for today. It says, I can correctly use an apostrophe to make a contraction with two words. So we have some pretty big vocabulary words in there. The first one that we talked about yesterday was an apostrophe. Can you say that with me again? Apostrophe. One more time. An apostrophe. Yesterday we talked about what an apostrophe was and how it's a punctuation mark that we use in our English language. And there are two uses of the apostrophe. So yesterday we talked about the first rule for apostrophes, which we know means an apostrophe can be used to show possession. Remember, possession means to show ownership or that something belongs to you. So we talked about apostrophes could be used to say Miss Wrangle's pen or the dog's food to show that the food belongs to the dog. That's the first use of apostrophes. But our second use is contractions, the other big word in our learning target. Can you say that with me? Contractions. One more time. Contractions. Contractions are the second use of apostrophes. They happen when two words are smushed together to make a brand new contraction. In a contraction, part of the word is taken out, letters are taken out, and replaced with an apostrophe. So two words become smaller, they contract, and we call that a contraction. So today we're going to practice putting these words together and being able to identify what letters are getting replaced with an apostrophe. So let's start looking at how this works. Okay, first up, we've got two words here. Is not. Is not. These two words can be contracted together to make a contraction. So as you see, the O is underlined. The O is going to go away and it's going to be replaced with an apostrophe. Let's take a look. Is not becomes isn't. So the O was taken away, and as you can see, it's now replaced with an apostrophe. This is a contraction. There were two words, but they got mushed together, and the O was replaced with an apostrophe. And we now read this word as isn't. Can you read that with me? Isn't. We have isn't, isn't. You will see these words come up in your reading, often when characters are talking. So it's really important that we know how to read these contractions as well as write them ourselves. So when not is part of a contraction you want to make, the O is going to go away and you'll replace it with an apostrophe. Let's look at another example. So here we have we will. We will. We will do our best. But we can take these two words, we can smush them together and make a contraction. What two letters do you notice are underlined in we will? What two letters are underlined? The W and the I in will. That means those letters are going to go away and they will be replaced with an apostrophe. Sometimes you can have more than one letter that is going to be replaced. So, if these two went away, we will do our best can become what? It will become we'll. We-ll. We'll do our best. An apostrophe replaced the W and the I, and connected the two words together to make a contraction. We will becomes wheel. Can you read that with me? Wheel, we-ol. When you're reading contractions, you're going to read the first word and then whatever left over from the second word, and that will be how you will pronounce those contractions. Okay, last one we're going to take a look at. We have they are. They are. They are awesome. We can say they are awesome another way, but by turning these, squishing them together into a contraction. What do you see? What letter are we going to replace? What letter is going to disappear? The A is what we are going to take away and replace with an apostrophe. We're going to replace this A with an apostrophe. So they are will become, it'll become their. They're awesome. They-er. This E is going to be silent just like it is in R. So the A was replaced by the apostrophe. Can we all read this contraction? They're awesome. Awesome work learning about contractions. We are going to get out our Super Kids book and practice writing them ourselves. But before we do that, I need you to stand up because it's our this or that. So can we all stand up and give ourselves a little movement break? So for our this or that today, you are going to be acting like an animal. And you are going to have to decide between the zoo. Do you prefer the zoo? If so, you're going to do elephant stomps. You're going to act just like an elephant. Or would you prefer going to the aquarium where you see sea creatures? If so, then you're going to do bunny hops, which are really light. So take your pick. Do you prefer the zoo? You're going to be an elephant. Do you prefer the aquarium? You're going to be a bunny. What is your pick? I love the zoo, so I'm going to do elephant stomps for 5 seconds. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made sure they were nice and strong like an elephant, so we can all sit right back down where we were, right back down in our awesome seats. Thank you. And as you are doing that, I want you to get out your workbook, and you are going to find, let's see, page 13. It looks like this, page 13. This is the page that we are going to use to help us all with our contractions. So page 13. Okay, Super Scholars, this page is a little challenging because we're going to get 2 words and we are going to have to combine them ourselves to make a contraction. So we're really going to need to pay close attention to what letter we need to take away and replace with a contraction. So okay, in this first one, it's already written out for us. So we can go ahead and trace it in. But I want you to notice, has not became hasn't. What letter in has not was replaced by an apostrophe to make hasn't? What letter did we X out and replace? The O in not. As you can see, there's no longer an O, but instead there's just an apostrophe. So hasn't, hasn't. Can you all read that word with me? Hasn't, hasn't. They're kind of tricky to say, but if we decode all the letters, we'll read them correctly. Okay, let's look at number 2. What are the 2 words? Is not. Is not. So look at this example. When we're trying to make a contraction with not, what letter is going to disappear and be replaced with an apostrophe? Look at this example. The O is going to disappear. So can you cross out the O to make sure we're not going to use it? So the O is going to disappear and be replaced with an apostrophe, and the word will be squished together. Can we write it out? Is, n, apostrophe, t. Okay, how do we read this word? Is not is now isn't, isn't, isn't. He isn't doing super well. So we also want to make sure we're reading these words correctly as well as writing them. Okay, Super Scholars, we're actually going to do a couple of different numbers because I want to make sure you have an example of each one for when you do this on your own. So now we're going to do number 10 together. We're on number 10. So, in number 10, our two words are we will. We will. When we want to make a contraction with the word will, there's going to be two letters that are going to disappear and be replaced with a contraction. Do you remember? What two letters are replaced? They're replaced in will. Do you remember? The W and the I are both going to be replaced. So can you make sure and put an X through the W and the I in will? We will write those with an apostrophe instead. So now can you write the contraction? Remember, we and will come together with an apostrophe. So what would that be? We apostrophe LL. So what new word did we create? We had we will, and this is wheel. Wheel. Wheel is how we pronounce this word. Okay, we're going to jump to 14. We're going to go in a little diagonal. 14, can you look at 14? The two words are she is. She is. These words are going to come together in a contraction. But what letter in is, it's always going to be in the second word. What letter in is are we going to take out and replace with an apostrophe? What letter is going to go bye-bye? The I is going to disappear. The I. It's just going to be one letter. It'll be the first one, the I. Okay, Super Scholars, can you write out the contraction for she is? Write out the contraction and use the apostrophe in the right place. Here we go. She, apostrophe, S. Instead of writing an I, we write the apostrophe. So how do we read this contraction? She's. She's. This S is going to say like its hard buzzing sound. Z. She's. Good job. Last one we're going to do 18. So go all the way down to this corner. 18. Okay, the two words are they are. They are. There's one letter that we are going to X out because we'll use an apostrophe instead. So in the word are, what letter are we going to take away? It's going to be the first letter, which is the A. The A is going to disappear. So can you put an X through the A? So you now know that instead of writing that A in the contraction, you're going to write an apostrophe. So let's go ahead. Can we write the new word? Here we go. They, apostrophe, R-E. There's no longer an A. Instead, there's an apostrophe. And Super Scholars, how do we read this word? We're going to read the first word and then just add the sound. They-er, there, there. There is how we read this contraction. So what you are going to do now contractions will be completed, and you have examples of each one we did. So if you get stuck, look at the examples we did together. And then number 2, you're going to take a video of you reading page 13. I want to hear you practice reading the contractions. So if you come to them in a book, you will have no problem. So of course, we got to practice first. So Super Scholars, we have now learned about both uses of our apostrophe. And right now, you are going to practice the second one, which is contractions. So remember, always go slowly. I always want you to double check your work. Don't start reading until you're 100% sure you've written all your contractions correctly. Because of course, you want to practice reading the right word. Okay, let's go be using page 13, and I can't wait to see what you do.